The planet Alicia was a haven of natural beauty, with lush forests, crystalline rivers, and skies that shimmered with emerald hues. This serene world was home to the Elysian, a peaceful race of beings known for their translucent skin and bioluminescent eyes. The Elysians thrived in harmony with nature and one another, their society a testament to the beauty of coexistence. For centuries, they lived undisturbed, cultivating their land and cherishing the symbiotic relationship they had with their environment. The Elysians were not just gentle in spirit, but also wise. They possessed an ancient knowledge that allowed them to maintain the delicate balance of their ecosystem. Their cities were marvels of organic architecture, seamlessly integrated into the natural landscape. Trees, plants, and streams wove through their homes, creating a living, breathing environment that sustained them and enriched their lives. The Elysians' connection to nature was both spiritual and practical, with rituals and practices that honored the cycles of life and ensured the prosperity of their community. In the heart of Alicia lay the Whispering Woods, a sacred forest where the Elysians believed they could communicate with the spirits of their ancestors. The woods were a place of reflection and guidance, where the soft glow of bioluminescent plants illuminated the paths for those seeking wisdom. It was said that the spirits of the forest could impart visions and knowledge to those pure of heart, providing insight into both personal and communal challenges. Life on Alicia was idyllic, but the Elysians were not naive. They knew that peace was fragile and that the universe was vast and filled with unknowns. Yet, their remote location in the cosmos had shielded them from the conflicts and ambitions of other civilizations. This isolation allowed them to develop a society that prized harmony and understanding above all else. They believed that every life, no matter how small, had a role to play in the grand tapestry of existence. One of the most respected figures in Elysian society was Eldra, the Elder Seer. Eldra's eyes, a deep, glowing green, were said to hold the wisdom of the ages. She guided the Elysians with gentle but firm counsel, ensuring that their actions remained aligned with their values. Under her leadership, the Elysians navigated the complexities of life with grace and foresight, always striving to maintain the equilibrium that sustained their world. However, this peaceful existence was not to last. Unbeknownst to the Elysians, a shadow was looming in the depths of space. Far from Alicia, in the dark corners of the cosmos, the Dracs were preparing for conquest. The Dracs were a ruthless, technologically advanced race, driven by an insatiable hunger for dominance. Their own world had been ravaged by environmental collapse, and now they sought new territories to exploit and conquer. Alicia, with its abundance of resources and strategic location, was an irresistible target. The Elysians remained blissfully unaware of the impending danger. They continued their daily lives, tending to their gardens, engaging in communal activities, and celebrating the wonders of their world. Festivals were held under the stars, with music, dance, and storytelling that bound the community together. Children played in the meadows, their laughter a testament to the innocence and joy that permeated Elysian society. But the peace of Alicia was shattered one fateful night. The skies, once filled with the gentle glow of bioluminescence, were suddenly ablaze with the harsh lights of Drax warships. The invasion was swift and brutal. The Dracs descended upon Alicia like a plague, their advanced technology overwhelming the Elysians' defenses. Cities were razed, forests burned, and the Elysians, despite their best efforts, were slaughtered or enslaved. Eldra, sensing the impending doom, managed to send out a desperate distress signal, an ancient code that she hoped would reach across galaxies. As the Dracs tightened their grip on Alicia, hope seemed lost. The once thriving planet was now a land of despair, its people subjugated and its natural beauty marred by the invaders. In their darkest hour, the Elysians' plea for help traveled through the void of space, seeking anyone who might come to their aid. Little did they know, their call would soon reach a group of unlikely saviors from a distant, war-torn planet known as Earth. On the dusty, arid landscape of the American Southwest, a group of rugged cowboys known as the Star Rangers had made a name for themselves. Led by the charismatic and sharpshooting leader, Wyatt "Lucky" McAllister, they were renowned for their quick thinking and unyielding sense of justice. Lucky, with his piercing blue eyes and ever-present smirk, had guided his gang through countless skirmishes and adventures, becoming legends in their own right. The Star Rangers were not just ordinary cowboys. They had a knack for encountering the extraordinary. Their encounters with strange phenomena and unexplainable events had given them a unique reputation. Among their prized possessions was an alien artifact, a relic from a previous encounter with extraterrestrial beings. This mysterious device, which had been collecting dust in their camp, would soon play a pivotal role in their next adventure. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the campfire crackled softly, the alien artifact sputtered to life. A haunting, ethereal voice echoed through the night, pleading for help. The voice spoke of a distant world in peril, a planet called Alicia, and its inhabitants, the Elysians, who were under attack by a ruthless invader known as the Drax. The message was fragmented but clear. Elysians need help. Alicia, destruction. Drax, save us. We can't ignore this, Lucky declared, his voice firm. If there's a chance we can help, we have to take it. The gang nodded in agreement, their resolve unwavering. With the help of an eccentric scientist friend, Dr. Thaddeus Grimshaw, they began to modify their horses and wagons for interstellar travel. Dr. Grimshaw, a brilliant but unconventional inventor, had always been fascinated by the possibilities of space travel. His eyes gleamed with excitement as he fitted the mechanical steeds and covered wagons with advanced propulsion systems, transforming them into spacefaring vessels. The sight was both comical and awe-inspiring. Mechanical horses with rocket engines and covered wagons outfitted with sleek, futuristic technology stood ready to breach the final frontier. As they prepared for their journey, the gang shared stories and laughed, their camaraderie a stark contrast to the grim mission ahead. Lucky, however, couldn't shake the feeling that they were riding into something far more perilous than they had ever faced. "Stay sharp, everyone," he cautioned. "This isn't going to be like anything we've dealt with before." As they rocketed through space, the Star Rangers marveled at the wonders of the cosmos. They were answering a call for help, embarking on a journey that would test their limits and forge new bonds. Upon their arrival at Alicia, the gang was met with a world in ruins. The once vibrant planet now lay under a shroud of smoke and despair. Could these humans truly save them? With his lasso and six-shooter in hand, Lucky took down a Drax lieutenant, gaining crucial intelligence on their operations. The victory, though small, was significant. It spoke of outsiders who would come to save Alicia in its darkest hour, led by a man with eyes like the sky. Dr. Grimshaw uncovered disturbing information about the Drax. They were not merely conquerors, but refugees from a dying world. Desperation, not malice, drove them. Determined to find a way to save both the Elysians and the Drax, Lucky and the Star Rangers prepared for the next phase of their mission. They knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and difficult choices, but they were ready. They had answered the call of destiny and were prepared to ride into the unknown, guided by their unyielding sense of justice and the hope of a brighter future. Alicia, though ravaged, still held remnants of its former glory. The Elysians, with their bioluminescent eyes and translucent skin, guided the Star Rangers through the ruins of their once thriving cities. They spoke of a place called the Whispering Caves, a sacred site that held the wisdom of their ancestors. Lucky, intrigued by the possibilities, decided that visiting the caves might provide the insight they needed to turn the tide of the war. The journey to the Whispering Caves was perilous. The path wound through dense forests, across crystalline rivers, and up steep, rocky cliffs. The Elysians, despite their weakened state, moved with a grace and determination that impressed the Star Rangers. They spoke in hushed tones about the caves, describing them as a place of great power and mystery. As they approached the entrance, an eerie hum filled the air. The cave mouth was framed by ancient, bioluminescent fungi that cast a soft, otherworldly glow. Indra, the Elysian spiritual leader, stepped forward to guide Lucky and his second-in-command, Sarah Scarlet Hayes, into the depths of the caves. "The spirits of our ancestors reside here," Indra explained. "They hold the memories and wisdom of all who have come before us. If we are to find a way to save Alicia, it will be through their guidance." Inside the caves, the walls seemed to pulse with life. The glow from the fungi revealed intricate carvings that told the history of the Elysians. As they ventured deeper, the hum grew louder, resonating through their very bones. Indra led them to the heart of the caves, a vast chamber illuminated by the soft glow of bioluminescent crystals. Indra began a ritual chant, her voice echoing off the walls. The crystals shimmered, and the air grew thick with energy. Lucky felt a strange sensation, as if the spirits were trying to communicate with him directly. Visions began to swirl before his eyes, glimpses of the past, present, and possible futures. He saw Alicia as it once was, a haven of beauty and harmony. The Elysians lived in peace, their society a testament to coexistence with nature. Then came the Dracs, their technology overwhelming the Elysians. Forests burned, cities fell, and the Elysians were slaughtered or enslaved. But there was more. He saw the Dracs' home world, a desolate place ravaged by environmental collapse. The Dracs, driven by desperation, had turned to conquest to survive. The vision shifted, showing the struggles of the Elysians and the bravery of those who resisted. Lucky saw himself and the Star Rangers, their arrival on Alicia, and the pivotal role they would play in the coming conflict. But the final vision was the most haunting. It showed a future where the Dracs, driven to the brink of extinction, unleashed a catastrophic weapon that annihilated both their own people and the Elysians. The destruction was absolute, leaving Alicia a barren wasteland. Indra's voice broke through the vision, steady and calm. The spirits have shown you what could be, but the future is not set in stone. You and your companions have the power to change it. Lucky, his mind racing, knew they had to act. Armed with this newfound understanding, he and Scarlet returned to the Elysians' camp. The Star Rangers and their allies needed a bold plan, one that could save both the Elysians and the Dracs from their fates. As they regrouped, Lucky shared the visions with his gang. The weight of the revelation hung heavy in the air. They were not just fighting for Alicia, they were fighting to prevent a galactic catastrophe. "We have to find a way to make peace with the Dracs," Lucky declared. "Their desperation is what's driving this conflict. If we can offer them hope, a chance to survive without conquest, we might be able to save everyone." Scarlet nodded, her expression resolute. "It's a risky plan, but it's the right one. We've always stood against tyranny. Now we have to stand for something more. Hope?" With the Elysians' help, the Star Rangers devised a daring plan to infiltrate the Dracs' main stronghold. They would offer a truce, a chance to end the bloodshed and find a new path forward. It was a gamble, but one they were willing to take. As they prepared for the mission, the gang shared a quiet moment together. The stakes had never been higher, but their bond had never been stronger. They were more than just a group of cowboys. They were a family, united by their unyielding sense of justice and hope for a better future. With determination in their hearts, the Star Rangers set out, ready to face the unknown. The fate of two worlds rested on their shoulders, but they were ready. They had answered the call of destiny, and they would see it through to the end. The Star Rangers, along with Indra, set off toward the Dracs' stronghold under the cover of night. Using the advanced cloaking technology provided by the Elysians, they moved undetected through the hostile terrain. Their destination was the Dracs' central command, a heavily fortified base nestled deep within a mountain range. It was there that they would make their bold proposition for peace. The journey was tense. Every shadow seemed to harbor danger, and the weight of their mission pressed heavily on their minds. Despite this, the camaraderie among the Rangers kept their spirits high. Lucky led the way, his sharp eyes scanning the surroundings, while Scarlet covered their rear, her ever-present vigilance a comfort to the group. As they approached the Dracs base, Indra took a deep breath and began a quiet chant, seeking the guidance of her ancestors. The air around them seemed to hum in response, and the Rangers felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was more than a mission. It was a chance to change the fate of two worlds. They infiltrated the base with practiced ease, slipping past guards and security systems. The cloaking technology proved invaluable, allowing them to move like ghosts through the Drac stronghold. Finally, they reached the central command chamber, where the imposing figure of Kagger, the Drax leader, awaited them. Kagger's eyes blazed with a mix of fury and curiosity as he regarded the intruders. "What do you hope to achieve, humans?" His voice was a deep rumble, filled with suspicion. Lucky stepped forward, meeting Kagger's gaze without flinching. We've seen what will happen if this war continues. Total annihilation for both our peoples. We're here to offer you a chance for peace. Kagger's expression remained stern, but there was a flicker of doubt in his eyes. Why should I trust you? Indra stepped forward, her voice calm and serene. Because we have seen the truth. Your people are not our enemies. We share a common goal, survival. Let us find a way to coexist. Kagger's eyes narrowed, but he listened intently as Lucky continued. The Elysians have technology that can rejuvenate ecosystems. They can help you find a new home, restore your world. In return, you must leave Alicia in peace. The room fell silent as Kagger considered their proposal. The tension was palpable, every second stretching into an eternity. Finally, Kagger spoke, his voice filled with a mixture of hope and resignation. Very well. I will bring this offer to my people. But know this, if you betray us, there will be no mercy. With the tentative agreement in place, the Star Rangers and Indra returned to the Elysian camp. Preparations were underway for the peace talks, and there was a sense of cautious optimism among the Elysians and the Dracs. However, not everyone was pleased with the prospect of peace. A faction of Elysians, led by a warrior named Fawn, viewed the truce as a betrayal of their fallen comrades. Consumed by grief and rage, Fawn plotted to sabotage the peace talks. He believed that the only way to secure Alicia's future was through the complete eradication of the Dracs. Unbeknownst to Lucky and Indra, Fawn had planted a powerful explosive device within the Dracs command center. As the peace talks commenced, representatives from both sides gathered with a mix of hope and skepticism. The atmosphere was tense, but filled with the potential for a new beginning. Just as the discussions began to show promise, Fawn's plan was set into motion. The explosion tore through the command center, killing several Drax leaders and wounding Kagger. Chaos erupted as Drax soldiers retaliated, believing the Elysians had betrayed them. In the midst of the carnage, Lucky and Scarlet fought to contain the situation, while Indra used her healing abilities to save as many lives as she could. But the damage was done. Trust between the two factions shattered in an instant. Kagger, severely injured but still determined, confronted Lucky. This was your doing, human. You brought death to our people under the guise of peace. Lucky, his heart heavy with regret, shook his head. This wasn't our plan. We were betrayed by one of our own. But this doesn't have to be the end. We can still stop this madness. Kagger's eyes blazed with fury, but there was a flicker of doubt. Prove it, human. Show me that your people truly want peace. Determined to salvage the situation, Lucky and Scarlet set out to find Fawn and stop his destructive plans. They tracked him to a hidden bunker on the outskirts of the Elysian capital. Fawn, surrounded by his loyal followers, was preparing for a final assault on the Dracs. Lucky, with Scarlet at his side, confronted Fawn. You've doomed us all, Fawn. This isn't the way. Fawn's eyes were wild with anger. You don't understand, Lucky. The Dracs will never stop. They will always be a threat to our people. Lucky's voice was calm but firm. And what about the prophecy? The future we saw? If we continue down this path, we'll destroy everything. We have a chance to change that. For a moment, Fawn hesitated, the weight of his actions dawning on him. But before he could respond, a group of Drax soldiers led by Kagger stormed the bunker. A fierce battle ensued, with Lucky and Scarlet caught in the crossfire. In the chaos, Fawn was mortally wounded. As Fawn lay dying, he reached out to Lucky. Maybe you were right. Maybe there is another way. Lucky grasped Fawn's hand. There is. And we'll make sure your sacrifice wasn't in vain. With Fawn's death, the fighting ceased. Kagger, seeing the sincerity in Lucky's eyes, finally relented. Enough. We will give peace a chance, for the sake of both our peoples. The aftermath of the conflict was a time of healing and rebuilding. The Elysians and the Drax worked together to restore Alicia, using their combined knowledge and resources. Slowly but surely, the planet began to recover, its natural beauty returning. The Star Rangers, having fulfilled their mission, were hailed as heroes by both the Elysians and the Drax. They had forged a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come. As they prepared to leave Alicia, Lucky stood on a hill overlooking the landscape. The air was filled with the promise of renewal. He knew this was just one chapter in their endless adventure, but it was one that had changed them forever. The gang mounted their mechanical steeds, ready to ride off into the stars. They had answered the call of destiny and, in doing so, had become legends not just on Earth, but across the cosmos. Months passed, and the alliance between the Elysians and the Dracs grew stronger. Together, they discovered that cooperation could achieve feats neither could accomplish alone. The Elysians' ability to rejuvenate ecosystems, combined with the Dracs' technological prowess, led to innovations that began to heal Alicia at an unprecedented rate. Despite the progress, Lucky couldn't shake a lingering sense of unease. Visions from the Whispering Caves haunted his dreams, and he felt a strange pull to return there. Sensing his distress, Indra suggested they seek further guidance from the ancient spirits. The decision was made. Lucky, Scarlet, and Indra prepared for another journey into the mystical depths of the Whispering Caves. The caves, illuminated by the soft glow of bioluminescent fungi, were a labyrinth of tunnels that seemed to pulse with life. As they ventured deeper, the air grew thick with an eerie hum, the spirit's presence palpable. Indra led the way, her quiet chant echoing through the cavernous space. The walls shimmered with ancient symbols and visions, revealing glimpses of past struggles and triumphs. Lucky watched, mesmerized, as scenes of Elysians and Dracs working together filled the cave. At the heart of the caves, they reached the Chamber of Memories, where the spirit's collective knowledge was most potent. Indra's chanting grew louder, and the chamber walls began to pulse with a bright, ethereal light. Lucky felt a strange sensation wash over him, as if the spirits were trying to communicate directly. Suddenly, a vision materialized before them. It showed the Dracs' home world, a desolate place ravaged by environmental collapse. The Dracs people, desperate and on the brink of extinction, were forced to become conquerors in order to survive. Lucky saw their pain and suffering, their struggle to find a new home. The vision shifted, showing the Elysians' bravery and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Lucky saw himself and the Star Rangers, their journey to Alicia, and the pivotal role they played in the conflict. The final vision, however, was the most haunting. It depicted a future where the Dracs, driven to the brink of extinction, unleashed a catastrophic weapon that annihilated both their own people and the Elysians, leaving Alicia a barren wasteland. Indra's voice broke through the vision. The spirits have shown you what could be, but the future is not set in stone. You and your companions have the power to change it. Armed with this newfound understanding, Lucky and Scarlet knew they had to act quickly. They devised a bold plan to infiltrate the Dracs' main stronghold, not to destroy them but to offer a truce. It was a risky gambit, but one that could prevent the devastating future they had seen. With the Elysians' advanced cloaking technology, they managed to bypass the Dracs' defenses and entered the heavily fortified base. Lucky, his trusted second-in-command Scarlet, and Indra navigated through the labyrinthine corridors, evading patrols and security systems. Finally, they reached the central command chamber, where Kagger, the Dracs leader, awaited them. His eyes burned with a mix of fury and curiosity. "What do you hope to achieve, human?" Kagger's voice was a deep rumble that resonated through the chamber. Lucky stepped forward, meeting Kagger's gaze without flinching. "We've seen what will happen if this war continues. Total annihilation for both our peoples. We're here to offer you a chance for peace." Kagger's expression softened slightly, the weight of his people's suffering evident in his eyes. "You speak of coexistence, but how? Our worlds are dying." Lucky took a deep breath. "The Elysians have technology that can rejuvenate ecosystems. They can help you find a new home, restore your world. In return, you must leave Alicia in peace." The room fell silent as Kagger considered their proposal. The tension was palpable, every second stretching into an eternity. Finally, Kagger spoke, his voice filled with a mixture of hope and resignation. "Very well. I will bring this offer to my people. But know this, if you betray us, there will be no mercy." With the tentative agreement in place, the Star Rangers and Indra returned to the Elysian camp, where preparations were underway for the peace talks. The atmosphere was tense, but filled with the potential for a new beginning. As the peace talks commenced, representatives from both sides gathered with a mix of hope and skepticism. The room buzzed with cautious optimism, and for the first time in a long while, there was a glimmer of hope for the future. The Elysians and the Dracs were ready to turn a new page, one of cooperation and mutual respect. And as they did, the Star Rangers stood by, ready to support them every step of the way. The peace talks began with representatives from both sides gathered under the vast canopy of the Elysian Great Hall. The air was filled with a sense of cautious optimism, and for the first time in months, the prospect of a lasting peace seemed within reach. Lucky, Scarlet, and Indra stood at the periphery, their eyes vigilant as the leaders of the Elysians and Dracs exchanged words of reconciliation. Kagger, still bearing the wounds from the recent conflicts, spoke with a gravitas that echoed through the hall. "We have fought for survival, but it is time we look beyond war. We must find a way to coexist." The Elysian elder, Eloria, nodded in agreement. "Our world has suffered greatly, but together we can heal it. Let us build a future where both our peoples can thrive." As the leaders discussed terms, the atmosphere slowly shifted from one of tension to a budding camaraderie. However, not everyone shared this sentiment. In the shadows, a faction of Elysians, led by the fierce warrior Fawn, viewed the truce as a betrayal. Consumed by grief and rage over the loss of their comrades, Fawn and his followers plotted to sabotage the peace talks. Unbeknownst to Lucky and the others, Fawn had planted a powerful explosive device within the Drax's main command center, timed to detonate during the peak of the negotiations. As the discussions progressed, Fawn's plan was set into motion. The explosion tore through the command center, sending shockwaves that rattled the Great Hall. Panic erupted as Drax soldiers, believing they had been betrayed by the Elysians, retaliated with fierce aggression. The once hopeful atmosphere was replaced with chaos and violence. Kagger, wounded but alive, confronted Lucky amidst the carnage. "This was your doing, human. You brought death to our people under the guise of peace." Lucky, his heart heavy with regret, shook his head. "This wasn't our plan. We were betrayed by one of our own. But this doesn't have to be the end. We can still stop this madness." Kagger's eyes blazed with fury, but there was a flicker of doubt. "Prove it, human. Show me that your people truly want peace." Determined to salvage the situation, Lucky and Scarlet set out to find Fawn and stop his destructive plans. They tracked him to a hidden bunker on the outskirts of the Elysian capital, where Fawn and his loyal followers were preparing for a final assault on the Drax. The bunker was a fortified stronghold, filled with weapons and explosives. Lucky and Scarlet, with the help of Indra, managed to infiltrate the bunker, confronting Fawn in a tense standoff. "Fawn, you've doomed us all," Lucky shouted, his voice echoing through the bunker. "This isn't the way." Fawn, his eyes wild with anger, spat back. "You don't understand, Lucky. The Drax will never stop. They will always be a threat to our people." Lucky's voice was calm but firm. "And what about the prophecy? The future we saw? If we continue down this path, we'll destroy everything. We have a chance to change that." For a moment, Fawn hesitated, the weight of his actions dawning on him. But before he could respond, a group of Drax soldiers, led by Kagger, stormed the bunker. A fierce battle ensued, with Lucky and Scarlet caught in the crossfire. In the chaos, Fawn was mortally wounded. As he lay dying, he reached out to Lucky. "Maybe you were right. Maybe there is another way." Lucky grasped Fawn's hand, his eyes filled with determination. "There is, and we'll make sure your sacrifice wasn't in vain." With Fawn's death, the fighting ceased. Kagger, seeing the sincerity in Lucky's eyes, finally relented. "Enough. We will give peace a chance, for the sake of both our peoples." The aftermath of the conflict was a time of healing and rebuilding. The Elysians and the Drax worked together to restore Elysia, using their combined knowledge and resources. Slowly but surely, the planet began to recover, its natural beauty returning. The Star Rangers, having fulfilled their mission, were hailed as heroes by both the Elysians and the Drax. They had forged a legacy that would be remembered for generations to come. As they prepared to leave Alicia, Lucky stood on a hill overlooking the landscape. The air was filled with the promise of renewal, and he knew this was just one chapter in their endless adventure. The Star Rangers mounted their mechanical steeds, ready to ride off into the stars once more. They had answered the call of destiny and in doing so had become legends not just on Earth, but across the cosmos. Months had passed since the peace between the Elysians and the Dracs had been solidified. The once war-torn planet of Alicia was transforming into a beacon of hope and renewal. Both the Elysians and Dracs were working side by side, their combined efforts bringing about innovations that neither could have achieved alone. The Star Rangers, having seen their mission through to success, had spent this time aiding the reconstruction, sharing their own knowledge and experience. The team had grown close to the Elysians and Dracs, their bond forged in the fires of battle and tempered by their shared vision of a peaceful future. But now, with the immediate danger behind them, it was time to move on. Lucky, Scarlet, and the rest of the Star Rangers stood on the steps of the Elysian Great Hall, ready to bid farewell. The leaders of both the Elysians and the Dracs gathered to express their gratitude. Eloria, the Elysian elder, spoke first. "You have given us more than just peace. You have given us a chance to rebuild and thrive. For that, we are eternally grateful." Kagger, now the de facto leader of the Dracs, stepped forward. His wounds had healed, and his demeanor had softened. "We owe you a debt we can never fully repay. Your courage and wisdom have saved not just our world, but our very souls." Lucky nodded, his heart swelling with pride and a tinge of sadness. "We were just doing what was right. The real work is what you're doing now, building a future together." Indra, the spiritual leader of the Elysians, approached with a gift. It was a small, intricately carved crystal, glowing with a soft bioluminescence. "This is a piece of Alicia, a reminder of your time here. May it guide you in your future journeys." Scarlet accepted the gift, her eyes misting with emotion. "Thank you, Indra. We'll carry this with us always." With their goodbyes said, the Star Rangers mounted their mechanical steeds. The people of Alicia watched as the team prepared to depart, their presence a symbol of hope and unity. The Rangers rode out of the capital, making their way to the ship that had brought them to this distant world. As they boarded the vessel, Lucky took one last look at the planet. The air was crisp, the sky clear, and the land teeming with new life. It was a world reborn, a testament to what could be achieved through cooperation and understanding. The ship's engines roared to life, and the Star Rangers ascended into the cosmos, leaving Alicia behind. Their journey took them back to Earth, where tales of their bravery had spread far and wide. The legend of the Star Rangers had become folklore, inspiring a new generation to dream of the stars and the adventures that awaited beyond. Upon their return, they were greeted with celebration and reverence. The towns and cities they had once protected now saw them as heroes not just of their own world, but of the universe. They shared stories of their time on Alicia, of the challenges they faced and the friendships they forged. But the call of the unknown was strong, and it wasn't long before the Star Rangers felt the pull of new adventures. They knew there were countless other worlds out there, each with its own challenges and mysteries. They had tasted the thrill of interstellar exploration, and there was no going back. As they prepared for their next journey, Lucky gathered his team. "We've done something incredible here, but our story is far from over. There are more worlds to explore, more people to help, and more adventures to be had. Let's make sure we're ready for whatever comes next." Scarlet, always the practical one, smirked. "We've faced worse and come out on top. Whatever's out there, we'll handle it." And so, the Star Rangers set off once more, their hearts filled with determination and excitement for the future. They ventured into the unknown, guided by the same principles that had led them to Alicia: courage, honor, and an unyielding belief in doing what was right. Their travels took them to distant planets and uncharted territories. They encountered new alien species, some friendly, others hostile. They solved ancient mysteries, uncovered hidden truths, and faced dangers that tested their limits. Through it all, they remained a tight-knit group, their bond unbreakable. Years later, they returned to Alicia for a reunion. The planet had transformed into a thriving paradise, a symbol of what could be achieved through cooperation and understanding. The Elysians and the Dracs had become a single, unified society, their combined efforts having forged a bright future for their world. Indra greeted them warmly, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of the ages. You have done more than save our world. You have shown us the true meaning of unity and strength. Lucky smiled, his heart swelling with pride. We couldn't have done it without you. It was a team effort. As they stood together, looking out over the lush, vibrant landscape, they knew their journey was far from over. The universe was vast, and there were still many adventures to be had. But for now, they could take a moment to appreciate what they had accomplished. The Star Rangers had become more than just a team of adventurers. They were heroes, legends, and pioneers of a new era. Their story would be told for generations, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who sought to make the universe a better place. And so, with the sun setting on Alicia, the Star Rangers prepared to ride off once more into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. They were the guardians of the last frontier, and their legacy would endure for all time. The Star Rangers had been journeying through the stars for several months since their last visit to Alicia. They had faced new challenges, made new allies, and continued to uphold their principles of justice and courage. Yet, amidst their adventures, they received a mysterious signal that pulled them in a new direction. It was a faint, rhythmic pulse detected by their ship's sensors. At first, it seemed like a glitch, but the pattern was unmistakable. A distress signal, ancient and cryptic. Scarlet was the first to identify it. That signal, it's old. Really old, she said, her fingers dancing over the ship's console. It's coming from a sector that's been marked as uninhabited for centuries. Lucky leaned over her shoulder, his blue eyes narrowing in concentration. Can you trace it to the source? I already have, she replied with a confident smile. It's coming from the outer rim of the Orion Nebula. The team gathered to discuss their next steps. The signal was a mystery, and the Star Rangers couldn't resist a good mystery. Could be a trap, Jackson, the group's tactician, warned. An uninhabited sector sending out a distress signal is suspicious. Or it could be someone who needs our help, Ellie, the group's medic, countered. We can't just ignore it. Lucky made the final decision. We'll investigate. If it's a trap, we'll deal with it. If it's someone in need, we'll do what we do best. The journey to the Orion Nebula was uneventful, giving the Rangers time to speculate about the source of the signal. As they approached, the nebula's vibrant colors filled the view screen, a cosmic tapestry of purples, blues, and greens. Signal strength is increasing, Scarlet reported. We're getting close. The signal led them to a desolate planet, its surface covered in ruins and debris. The team landed their ship near what appeared to be the remains of a once great city. The air was thick with dust, and the silence was deafening. Spread out and stay alert, Lucky ordered. Scarlet, you and Ellie take the north sector. Jackson and I will take the south. Keep comms open. The teams moved cautiously through the ruins. Scarlet and Ellie picked their way through collapsed buildings and overgrown streets. Every so often, they'd stop to investigate a structure or examine a piece of technology long dormant. Ellie, over here, Scarlet called, kneeling beside a rusted console. This looks like a communications hub. Maybe it's the source of the signal. Ellie joined her, examining the console. It's ancient, but I think I can power it up. With a few adjustments and some creative engineering, the console flickered to life. The signal's pattern appeared on the screen, and a distorted voice began to play through the speakers. This is Captain Alara of the Ian, last of the Sentinel fleet. We are stranded. Our world has fallen. If anyone receives this message, we beg for aid. The coordinates are embedded in the signal. Scarlet's eyes widened. The Ian? That ship was part of a legendary fleet that disappeared centuries ago. Ellie looked at her in shock. If this signal is from them, we might be standing on the remains of their world. Meanwhile, in the southern sector, Lucky and Jackson encountered similar ruins. They found a large structure that appeared to be a command center. Inside, they discovered more consoles and remnants of advanced technology. Lucky, check this out, Jackson said, pointing to a holographic map displaying the planet and its neighboring systems. This place was a hub of activity once. Look at all the trade routes and outposts. Lucky nodded, deep in thought. Something catastrophic must have happened to turn this place into a ghost planet. The teams reconvened at the ship, sharing their findings. The signal was indeed from the Ian, and the planet they were on was once a thriving civilization, now reduced to rubble. "We need to find the Ian," Lucky said. "If there's any chance of survivors or clues about what happened here, it will be with that ship." Using the coordinates embedded in the signal, the Star Rangers set off in search of the Ian. The trail led them deeper into the nebula, through treacherous asteroid fields and past volatile gas clouds. Finally, they spotted the Ian, a massive ship adrift and barely functional. Its hull was scarred, and its lights flickered weakly. The team docked and boarded the vessel, their weapons ready but hopeful for survivors. Inside, the Ian was a haunting sight. The corridors were dark, and the air was stale. They moved cautiously, calling out for any sign of life. "Over here," Ellie shouted, finding a stasis pod with a faint power signature. Inside was a woman, her uniform tattered but recognizable as that of a Sentinel fleet captain. "It's Captain Alara," Scarlet said, her voice filled with awe. "We found her." With delicate care, they managed to activate the pod's release mechanism. Alara awoke, disoriented but alive. She looked at the Star Rangers with a mixture of relief and disbelief. "You're not the rescue team I expected," she said weakly, but with a hint of a smile. "But you're here, and that's all that matters." Lucky stepped forward, extending a hand. "We're the Star Rangers. Let's get you out of here." As they helped Alara back to their ship, the weight of the discovery settled in. They had uncovered a piece of lost history and potentially the key to what had happened to this once great civilization. The journey back was filled with questions and anticipation. The answers lay ahead, and the Star Rangers were ready to uncover the truth. The silent beacon had led them to a new adventure, one that would test their resolve and expand their understanding of the cosmos.